Hi everyone, welcome back. So now we are back to soonishere.tv, and today we are in 50 tier. Yeah. So what is 50 tier about? They are doing a modern way of Chinese cuisine. They bring out the hawker version kind of a noodle, but they make it everything into the homemade with a high quality of ingredients, and everything is curated by 𝐅𝐿. And today we're gonna go inside to meet 𝐅𝐿 later on. And why 𝐅𝐿? Because in soonishere.tv, what we do is we focus to highlight all the good talent, and also the talent that in F&B, it can be chef, it can be barista, it can be bartender, that have the ability to influence the others, and also to bring out the authenticity, and also to turn it into more artisan way for their local culture. All right. And what are you doing here? Okay, let's go. Okay, now we are in 50 tiers. Yeah, but our coffee is from
30 seconds.
30 seconds.
Yeah.
50 and 30.
Yeah, 50 and 30.
So your menu, everything is 50 and 30. All right, guys, just want to introduce you my very good friend, 𝐅𝐿. Yeah. I know 𝐅𝐿 since 𝐅𝐿 was in
college.
In college. Yeah. And then another very another memory is in one of the bar. What was the bar name again? So out? No.
So WIP.
Huh?
WIP.
WIP. Is it a WIP or 𝐷 𝗔𝗿 or something like that?
I was at WIP.
WIP. Oh yeah, before 𝐷 𝗔𝗿 it's called WIP. Yeah. So I know you from there, and you were doing your part-time there.
Yep.
And I'm like, wow, these students so hard work. Like, you know, morning you have to go to school, and then you have to finish your homework. Sometimes you got exam, and then now at the night come to the bar and do the work, and work together with all the talented bartender from Sabah. Yeah. Then after that, another memory that in my mind that is during my competition for Monangkang. Yeah. Okay, cut short that one. All right. Yeah. So when I present my drink, and then I hear from far there's a sound. Someone said, "Wow!" Oh no, or something like that. I forgot it. Yeah. I remember there's a voice from the crowd. Yeah. Then it was you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then after that, and then you graduate, and then 𝐅𝐿 have an opportunity to join coffee distributor. Yeah. And 𝐅𝐿 also, with your knowledge that you've been developed during your study time, and it's just nice for you to apply and reach to that level. Yeah. Because in the market, to be honest, not much of a young talent like you are going out so much and explore when study time. Yeah. So we see a lot of them are going for part-time, but mainly just front of the house service team. Yeah. Not much in the back of the house. Yeah. And or behind the bar. Then got to know you are so interested in coffee.
Yep.
And I have a words with you, and I, wow. So a student, bar, and then now jump to coffee. Okay. Then there's come to a day you won a competition. Yeah. And there's a few competitions that you have won, and then you organize a lot of event and important activities for Malaysia barista community. And you have a chance to represent Malaysia, go on board to compete with other countries as well for your barista skill.
Yeah.
Then after that, you came out to tell me about noodles. I'm like, what? Okay, bar, you done. Then you done for hospitality, and then you done for coffee, barista, and your latte art as well. Then, now you tell me about noodles. I'm like, Aaron, something's out in you. Yeah, today I want to dig up more on that. Yeah.
Yep.
And yeah. And after that, not just one, and then you come out another one noodle shop in KL.
Yep.
I'm like, this guy seriously have a different way of a picture. I don't know how you look at how your future. I also want to know on that more about that. And I'm so happy that you have this very, how to say, remarkable journey. Yeah.
Thank you.
And I think this is a very good for me to tell everyone that how talented you are and how passionate from what you are doing since start from your study time. Yeah, all the way you finish from school, you get the freedom, and then you come up with do your own thing, and then from there you break out from your comfort zone, and then you go from a different level and try a different new thing, and now you are challenging something.
Yep.
Yeah. So, Aaron, we are so proud to have you in Malaysia.
Thank you.
F&B community, especially for the new generation one. And yeah, so this video, I hope you can share more about yourself and how you, and the picture that you have pictured in your mind that you want to carry to the future. And yeah, I think, and let's make this video to be one of the inspiring video for the young one. Yeah. So let's have Aaron.
Yeah.
All right. So Aaron is the founder of
50 Tails.
50 Tails, and
also 30 seconds along with my family.
yeah.
And then another one which is True by 50 Tails.
Yes.
So,
Wow. So many. And how old are you?
28 this year. She just passed 28 not long ago. So.
Right, before 30, you have like so many outlets already, so successful. Yeah, and yeah, I think the game just started.
Yeah.
Right. So
Definitely.
let's introduce, talk about, maybe we drill back a little bit more, like your born and raised.
Okay.
Know? Yeah.
So, hi everybody. For those who don't know who am I, I'm Aaron 𝗏. Some of you all know me as the 2019 Malaysia Barista Champion. But at the same time, I'm also formerly a mixologist and now turned chef. So yes, it gets very confusing. I'm doing every part of the F&B now. In general, I actually started off wanting to be a chef in high school. So right after PMR, I knew I wanted to be a chef.
Oh, PMR.
Yeah.
PMR,
So,
we are talking about age 15.
15, yes. So at the time, I already knew I wanted to cook. Yeah, but along the way, my dad is quite against me going to culinary school.
Okay, that's an uncle fault.
Yeah. I mean, the next best choice he gave me was hospitality.
Okay.
So, I mean, his argument is that you study a little bit more things, a little bit more general, you get to know a little bit more stuff. So yeah, I enrolled into a hospitality school. At that time, I didn't really expect anything from it. At the time, during first semester, I was still thinking, you know, like, you know, if I could still jump to the culinary school, maybe. Because I mean, there's an opportunity to actually jump to the culinary school during your first semester. So I was, yeah, considering, and then I'm like, okay, maybe not do it, you know, not get myself into trouble, you know. So, yeah, I ended up staying in the hospitality school. I found my love and passion for mixology at the time. Yeah, because I'm a person who is pursuit of flavors.
Alright.
So and I think a bartender's job is really cool, like how they work behind the bar, you know, the way they pour, the finesse of it. It's very nice. And from the dress code of a bartender, you know, with the vest and the tie. So at the time, it's like, this is something I want, you know, like, yeah.
Back then, right? 90s,
yeah. But then at the time,
no. 20s.
that's 20,
yeah,
it's
20s.
2012. We're talking about 2012.
Sorry, put you in 90s. Sorry.
Anyway, so yeah, in 2012, there weren't a lot of bars around, I would say, mostly either in hotel or chain bar, I would say. So at the time, the most hot name or like bar in town was Sold Out Group. So under Sold Out, they had Sold Out WIP, and then they had 789.
Yeah.
So I got to know the guys from 789 first. Alvin, Samuel, Osmond. So they were like some people I look up to, like, damn.
Right.
So I got the opportunity to apply part-time at WIP. So I went in there, I did my part-time, I enjoyed the work. But at that time, like I said, there weren't many speakeasy bars, so not many people who can speak of the craft. So I wouldn't say I lost passion. I still am very passionate about mixology. But it's just that at that time, coffee was booming. And coffee became more accessible instead of being a bartender.
Right.
And in coffee also, we talk a lot about terroir, like how wine is being produced, the different varietal, the different processing method. So that intrigued me, one. Two, of course, latte art. It's fun, I can call it. No, just kidding. But I mean, yeah, latte art was a cool thing, and I was very intrigued by what happens behind the bar again. So I knew a senior who was already in coffee. So he just opened the wonders all to me, and then from then I never stopped. So I say coffee. I've been in coffee now 8 years. Yeah. So fast forward, I've been competing a lot. Then 2015 is the first time I joined nationals. Didn't make it anywhere. Was horrible. Only was at prelim. Following year I tried again. Still didn't pass prelim. In 2017, that's where I actually first time got into finals.
All right. So it took you 2 years.
Yeah.
To enter the final.
Yep.
So can I ask, like, the first year you couldn't make it, like, damn, I couldn't make it, right? So what are you gonna do from there?
At that time, I'm very focused. My mind is always to find ways to prove my point for a cause. I joined competition not just for the bragging rights, not just for the fame, but I joined for a cause.
Okay.
So at the time,
Nice.
competition are very dominated by a very expensive variety of coffee. It's very dominated by certain variety of coffee that is only deserved to be in competition. Not say deserve, but like it has better chance to win. So on my part, I wanted to have a coffee that can give back to the farmer. At the same time, is affordable for consumer, and at the same time, I feel good about serving it. So at the time, I was promoting something called like a farm direct.
Okay.
So everything's from the source all the way to the final cup. So yeah, so I persevered on. I mean, with that same cause, I choose to believe it can work, because in the worlds there have already a few people who have done that. So I choose to believe we can break through that even in our own country's national level. So I persevered on even until the day that I got my champion title. It was still a coffee that's farm direct, and it wasn't any expensive coffee for
I
competition.
heard of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a local coffee.
No, not local. It's farm direct. It's just that
Liberica, no?
No, not Liberica. It's Arabica. It's just that it's my dear late friend Joey has been very long time buying this coffee from them. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Speaking of him, I think
yeah.
we are.
Yeah, I mean, Joey is a very interesting guy.
Yeah, he's a
he
great guy.
inspire many people. And he want to bring out the best in a lot of people. And unfortunately, he's gone a little bit too soon.
Yeah.
But at least he didn't suffer. So
Okay.
yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I mean, it was for a cause lah. Like I said, competition. So I persevered on focusing on just getting a farm direct coffee to prove a point to people, understanding what is really quality. So yeah. So
Yeah, I think. Do you want to give a respect for him?
yeah.
How to do?
Yeah,
This,
moment of silence.
A moment silent.
Yeah.
How many seconds? 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Still, Joey Ma is a very respectful person for me as well.
Yeah.
You know, whenever I start this channel, he's one of my one of my top lists that I want to speak to him as well. Like, you know, how, what he thinks. Something is his mind. Like, you know, he can do so much of thing, and he can help you to develop, and he can help you to enhance your ability and your talent to be more higher level. Yeah, he got this ability that a lot of people don't own it. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I wish he can write a book for us. Yeah. Alright. Nothing left. Just go like that. Okay. Yeah. So let's see. Anyway, we need someone that you know, have the passionate and do how 𝐷 do the thing for the community.
Correct.
Yeah. So yeah, continue back to your education, your career journey, and also your competition journey.
So after getting my title, not to say I don't love coffee anymore. I still love coffee as much as I do. It's just that I just needed something fresh, because I've been in coffee, like I said, for almost 8 years, and like been doing that for so long. So I just needed a refresher. So when I thought about refresher, I was just like, hey, why not revisit my childhood dream? Okay. Which is to cook.
Wow.
And I asked myself before many times, if I ever become a chef, what do I want to cook? And I want to cook something that's close to my heart.
Right.
So noodles is something that I grew up eating a lot. My mom used to make noodles at home from scratch. So I kind of like picked that up along the way. So, and
wait, auntie make it from scratch?
Yeah.
The noodle.
So we make we make banh mi at home.
Okay.
Yeah. So my mom is the kind where when she goes out and eat, she'll be like,
how you cook it? I want to go back
and do that. You know, she'll find ways to replicate the experience at home.
Wow.
And we even tried to prank my grandma once. We make yun fan, and then we just pack it in how normal kopi pack, and then send to my grandma. And my grandma actually asked like, "Oh, very nice. Where you all tapao one?"
Fun.
Yeah, I mean these are things I grew up. So and it has always been my parents' kind of like retirement idea to have a makan shop. From a stall, now we actually have like an actual cafe and restaurant, which is, we went a little bit too far-fetched, but from a little stall idea became to what it is now. So, but yeah, so we love noodles, and I just want to cook something that's close to my heart.
Nice.
That's one. And then also the reason why I started 50 Tales is because there's this drawback at least 2-3 years ago when Netflix featured Asian street food. And a lot of people were very upset that Malaysia is not featured. And I don't disagree with them, because I mean the people from Netflix or whoever the producers are, in general, we are not the proudest people of our own local cuisine. We can say we are, but in general perspective, we don't really market our local food as much. To our young boys or girls don't really know how to make our own local food.
Right.
And local cuisine is actually very tough to do. It takes a lot of effort.
It is.
Yeah. And even for us, we always have this challenge in mind, a thought in mind is that, you know, all the culinary students, you can tell them like, oh, I want them to do the 5 mother sauces. They can memorize it and they can do it perfectly. But on the reverse, if I ask them to make a sambal or a laksa paste, or even say just make a proper 𝐷 pork lard, you know, a lot of culinary students find it a challenge. That's because our culinary school here in Malaysia are not really trained you. I mean, they don't really train you to do prepared for your own local cuisine.
They don't, right?
Yeah.
Mainly
you learn French.
French.
So, and I find it quite sad and disappointing as a local Chinese. We should, I mean, or local Malaysian, we should know at least our own local food preparation. Some form of heritage should or tradition should last. Whereas a lot of things in Chinese food nowadays are mass produced, sauces are bought ready-made, and I don't blame them because inflation happens, things are going higher price. And in order to sell at the same price, they will have to compromise on the ingredient. Rather than charging you more expensive. So I mean, it's a sad fact that we don't have that heritage or that classic or like that tradition that's being passed on.
Correct.
So
Yeah.
Hence why I started 50 Tales. I won't say my recipe are all 100% traditional or heritage or like passed on from my grandmother or mother, but there are some influence. But ultimately, we are just trying to find a way to allow our local chefs or even local young boys or local people to have a place to appreciate our own local produce, and our own local goods can actually be as good as whatever foreign goods. Because every time we think of a birthday celebration with a friend, we will think of maybe an Italian restaurant or a Japanese restaurant, but we never really say like, oh, let's go to a Chinese xiaolao and have a birthday celebration, unless it's, I mean, yeah, you do lah. Normally, yeah, your grandparents' birthday or wedding, you don't, only during those occasions you actually think about going to that kind of restaurant.
They have to be Chinese thing, you know.
Yeah,
for them.
correct. And it's very funny because like those are actually our high-end restaurant in Chinese, and then kopitiam is the lower end. There's nothing really in between. So 50 Tales, we try to stay in between that, the gap. So it's not so posh, but at the same time it's not until like a local kopitiam. You can dress proper and come. You know, you get to post on social media. You know, you feel comfortable eating here. There's aircon. You know, and it's proper glasswares and cutleries and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, so it's less intimidating, and you still get to enjoy local Chinese food. And not feel intimidated about it.
Cool, man. So, what about this?
Yeah, so basically what we have here is just our simple handmade egg noodles. I toss it with a flavor oil. Flavor of garlic and spring onions and other stuff. And then also a lot of pork lard. So it's
a lot of pork lard.
Yep. I mean, I grew up eating 𝐷 𝗷面, and these are the flavors that I actually enjoy. And not many people are doing it nowadays because pork lard is expensive, one, and it takes a lot of effort to do.
Pork lard is expensive now?
Yeah. I mean, back then in my grandma days, it used to be free lah. So I started this business 2.5 years ago. It's 9 ringgit a kilo, and today is 16 ringgit a kilo for pork lard.
Okay, for those in the business, you know lah, the market price.
Yeah, we're gonna enjoy some noodles.
Cheers, man.
Yeah.
Thanks for the noodle. So how do you make this noodle?
Give me a moment. So,
before that, you know, who can talk nicely and present nicely without eating? Korean.
Korean? No, I have no idea.
You try and learn Korean language.
Okay.
They have a lot of voice and sound that from inner part.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you speak Korean, then you eat, right? Your tongue in your mouth position, where you can park your foot on the side, and then you talk.
Yeah. Okay.
So you see, it's so funny. There's so many people that eat, I mean in the movie drama, while eating and talking. Korean, they do very good. They have a very good scene, yeah.
That's true. So yeah, but coming back, how we make these noodles, basically it's just fresh eggs, flour, and a lot of love, a lot of kneading. So yeah, it's just to get the texture that I really like, because as a kid I got to go Hong Kong once, and I really like the texture of noodles there. It's very different from here. People always say 𝐶𝗔 𝗷. So it's bouncy and it's got a nice bite to it. When I came back here, a lot of noodles are just very soft. So I wanted to replicate that same texture, or like to have that kind of bite to the noodle. So all our noodles here are made with fresh eggs and no water. It's just eggs and flour.
No water?
Yeah, just eggs and flour.
Do you mind I ask one thing? Like, what about the normal yellow noodle in the generic one? How they make it? And the yellow color is from egg yolk?
No, those outside yellow noodles is from 𝐷 𝗔𝗿𝐶, alkaline. Yeah. So like wanton mee in Hong Kong also, although it's eggs and flour, but they also add in 𝐾𝐸. So 𝐾𝐸 is actually alkaline. What it does is actually helps with texture. So you are guaranteed with a nicer texture noodles. And it's also a cheaper method to get a better texture noodles. So hence why a lot of yellow noodles have 𝐾𝐸. We choose not to use it because we want to showcase that having just very good ingredients done properly can also achieve the same result. Yeah.
But your texture is way more better for me. Yeah. Like you have a bouncy,
Yeah.
it has a texture. Italian they call it al dente lah. Huh?
Yeah.
You have that, and then because noodle cannot be soft. Yeah. For me, I'm a noodle person. I love noodles since I was very young. I always go for noodle rather than rice. So I have my own preference for noodle. Yeah. So I like the noodles, the texture. When you bite it, it's something like mee-hoon.
Yeah.
Right. But in a bigger size form. So
Yeah.
you and you made it. That's why I keep coming back for your noodle.
Thank you.
Yeah. And so to replace the alkaline, what do you do?
Just a lot of kneading, a lot of effort. So yeah, we make our noodles fresh. So every day we make for the next day. Noodles are not served the same day when we make.
Oh, not the same day.
Yeah, a lot of people think it's best to serve on the same day. It's actually not. It should be the next day because the noodles actually have to rest. So the water activity is less, so it doesn't absorb so much water when you cook. So the noodle texture also will be a lot better. Yeah.
So they dry out a bit.
I won't say dry out, so like the flour has fully absorbed all the moisture that it needs and it stopped absorbing as much anymore.
Or allow the flour to absorb it.
Yeah.
That's why you can get back the
Texture.
the tendency,
Yeah.
the texture.
Yeah. So because if it's fresh dough, it will also absorb the water while it's boiling, so the texture tends to be a little bit softer when it's made cooked on the same day that it's made. So yeah.
My preference, so I like a lot of egg noodle because egg noodle brings more flavorful compared to other noodle, right?
Correct.
Yeah. And yeah. Well, what is our next topic? Oh, yes. Our next one. So, after 50 tiers, then the next one is 𝐶, right? Where you incorporate with your best friend, also Aaron.
Yeah,
correct?
Aaron, yeah.
I was so confused at time because I'm not close with Aaron, but after that I got to know him more. Yeah, also very interesting guy.
Yeah.
I like him. And how's the idea came out like Not Ramen? This is a very, I would say it's a big statement.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bro, this is like you showing your parang to the samurai.
Yeah, and it's funny, like when we put Not Ramen, a lot of Japanese chefs actually patronize our restaurant. And
Really? They feel that? They feel that?
And a lot of them are our regular customers. That's actually very funny, like, and it's funny, a ramen chef understands what we're trying to do.
Okay.
And they appreciate our craft a lot better.
Okay.
Yeah, it's funny, we always say like most of the people who think we are Japanese ramen, but then the Japanese ramen chef comes to our noodle bar, they know this is Chinese noodle, it's not ramen. But yeah, anyway, so a little bit of background about 𝐶 by 50 Tails. I mean, we named that 𝐶 also is because in Chinese, 𝐶 is like, it means beginning.
Beginning, right.
So I grew up going to 𝗏𝗏𝗏 Street a lot to eat. So a lot of my palate is shaped by eating food there as well. So to me, it's a beginning for me because cooking among people whom I look up to. So it's a beginning journey for me to cook among the legends.
Nice.
Yeah.
Aaron.
So yeah, so Not Ramen came up. We came up with this term Not Ramen because even our restaurant, we put a Chinese name. We don't market it as ramen.
You mean like here?
Yeah, even in 50 Tails here, even in 𝐶. But general Malaysian have this stigma of a noodle bar has to be Japanese ramen. Again, I don't blame them because there's no representation or there's no context to compare.
Correct.
For Chinese noodle bar, because Chinese noodles is always either in a kopitiam, or a restaurant that sells noodle. You don't really have a bar per se, or it's the very high-end restaurant. So a lot of people walk through our doors thinking we are Japanese ramen, and they get very disappointed. It's funny because we don't market it that way, but they have that pre-notion or like that concept of like it's a ramen. So we put out this statement there so that we remind people that we are not Japanese ramen. We are actually a modern Malaysian Chinese restaurant.
Modern Chinese,
yeah. So, yeah, it's very interesting how Malaysian mentality of cuisine is still at a very shallow level. Like the moment a noodle bar is mentioned, it has to be Japanese per se. So, and like, not want to talk bad about omakase, but I choose to believe this term also has been overused for marketing and how they brand themselves. Even, I mean, I get this from a lot of bartenders as well. People coming into the bar like, no, I don't want anything from your menu. Give me something omakase. Like, the hell, you know, like, I mean, so I choose to believe a lot of things have been really overused, and because of that, it made the consumer level a little bit shallow, that they're not prepared and ready for a lot more things. So, I mean, interestingly, just now I mentioned about the street food and stuff like that on Netflix. Even Michelin, I mean, recently we have Michelin.
Oh, yeah.
Again, I can't remember which newspaper or which article actually interviewed Michelin and asked them why didn't they come in earlier.
Okay.
And one of the reason, aside from fundings and all the other things, one of the main reason was also they felt that the food scene here wasn't ready to be on the guide.
This is from who? From the Michelin guy?
Yeah.
Wow.
So I can't remember which article, but
we have to work harder.
Yeah.
We have to work harder.
Yeah. I mean, that's why we have restaurants like Dewakan.
Yeah.
We have people like Nadodi, 𝐷 from Penang, 𝐷, restaurant who are actually trying to push local produce and also local flavors to a whole new level. So yeah, kudos to them, like Dewakan, 𝐷, Nadodi, who has been have been trying to pursue locals better than import.
Nice.
So I mean, the local food scene here, I mean, has to grow lah. Yeah, but I would say it will take time. I would say 2.5 years in now, and
2.5 years. Yeah. Okay. Why not?
It's still pretty challenging up to this day. It's a lot about finding new ideas, you know, keeping the customer attracted to what we're doing, and to sell them the idea that local food can be as good as any other cuisine.
Yeah, and I think we also need one more alignment to be in this concept where guys are all the respected interior designer. Can you help us to think of something, a concept that can allow Malaysian Chinese modern cuisine to, you know, at least when people look at this interior, they know already this interior is connect and or represent Malaysian Chinese modern cuisine.
Yeah.
So I think we also need that as well. Yeah.
Correct.
And also we need a lot of a designer to help the industry to brand it in a way. Yeah.
But I choose to believe a lot of us don't even really know our own culture and our own food habits, and like varies from different household. It's interesting, I can't remember who told me this before, but in Thailand, part of the eulogy when a person passed away, they actually have their recipe written there as well to be able to pass on to the next generation.
Yeah.
But
we don't do it here.
Yeah, we don't do it here.
Sure.
And we don't really commonly share household recipe as well.
Okay.
Because
because everything by agak-agak.
yeah, everything agak-agak, you see. Yeah. and a lot of mums and grandmother wouldn't encourage their kids in the kitchen, per se. So I mean, I choose to be very blessed. My grandma and my mum, they always welcome me in the kitchen.
Nice.
I think it's also an Asian stigma that the younger generation should study more, go be a doctor, be an engineer, don't come into the kitchen, don't do all this hard work. This kind of job is non-educated kind of job. I mean, it's a general stigma like in the Asian community, which I've also encountered with some customers before. So they're like, "Oh, you don't study, you follow this koko go and make coffee." Like,
huh?
Like,
hey, hello.
Yeah.
We have a friend, barista, but they drive Ferrari.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, like I said, like, it's a general stigma of Asian community.
Okay.
So that's why F&B also is not being appreciated at that level. So it's I would say it's really hard to push to the next level also, because if people don't really respect the job, so if they don't respect the job, they won't respect the craft.
Okay.
Yeah. It's very important about taking the opportunity and not worrying about success or failure.